Hey, welcome to AMCON Northern Utah. My name's Randy. I'm one of the two guys, one of the two folks who've kind of got this started, and we got this group going, and we're worried about getting communications out to everybody and trying to keep everybody up to speed and on the same sheet of music. This is my first time doing a YouTube video, so bear with me on this. I've got some notes. I'll be looking down. It's not going to be any Hollywood version. So, all right, so let's get started. Like I said, my name's Randy. Retired Navy, about 30 years. I did 10 years in naval aviation as an electrician and an air crewman. Then I did the last 20 years in explosive ordnance disposal, or EOD. It was a great time. I retired back in November. And this thing kind of popped up, and we'll get into that later. But I'm happy to be doing this. I'm happy to be part of it. My partner in crime, she's really got all the big ideas, and she should be doing this because she's better at this stuff. But Tina, she's a pillar. Literally, you hear people about being a pillar in their community. She is that person. Just to read off some of her accomplishments, big in Girl Scouts leadership, was an LDS Church Girls Camp Director for several years, Citizens Assisting Citizens volunteer, did disaster relief, was boots on the ground during Hurricane Harvey in Texas, and had, as well as several other hurricanes. The list goes on and on. I mean, every time I talk to her, I'm just amazed by the more talents that she has. You'll get to meet her, you'll see her at the meeting, so look for her. Let's see, let's talk about my guiding principles. I think that's important for you to know as a person in leadership. It's important to know what's driving me, what my left and right limits are. Personally, and I stole these, to be honest with you. They're not mine, but I love them and I like to live by them. Number one, operate in the light. That means if it's important, you're going to hear about it. You're going to know what's going on with our organization. You bring what you have, we'll bring what we have. Everybody shares information, and then we make good principle-centered decisions from there. So that brings me to number two, principle-centered decisions. At the end of the day, all the decisions we're going to make are fundamentally boiled down to what makes sense. The big decisions for the organization are going to be made by you. This is a democracy. This isn't Randy's show. It's not the Tina show. It is AMCON, and we're going to we need your input to make sure we're going in the right direction. And number three, lead. In absence of leadership, provide leadership. That's just that little bit of effort will bring so much benefit to any scenario that you're ever in. If there's not someone taking charge, then be the person that takes charge. Just by watching this video right now, it tells me that you have a sense of involvement. You want to be part of something bigger. You want to have a network. That takes leadership just to step out and start looking for something. And we're happy to have you. The tenets. So early on, the first few members of the organization, we all got together and we decided, after dinner, we talked about what we wanted the organization to be, and it kind of got lumped into these three tenets, and I'll just kind of read them out to you or give them off to you. We're a support network that makes every effort to help each other and help others in time of need, or especially in crisis. Number two, we're an organization that seeks internally and externally to preserve, to gain skills, to preserve life, and maintain law and order while making good decisions, using principle-centered decisions. So number three, we're an apolitical, non-racist organization with a structure built on the bedrock of people who just want to do the right thing, as well as as well as trying to think. I got it. I'm trying to paraphrase, but good self-reliant people, independent people who can pick up the ball and move forward. Like I said before, who see a need and actually and pull over to help, or stop the person on the street, or whatever it is. Those are the type of people we need. That's what this organization is about, is helping others. If you think if you're in agreement with those and you like those, then you're at the right place. I will say manning. So recently our manning has been is growing fairly well. I think we're up a little over 60 bodies right now. It's good. It's great compared to where we started with 2 people talking on the internet, and so we're up to 60, and I'm super excited about that. We have a handful of people who are kind of wearing 2, maybe 3 hats, trying to manage the different departments that we have. We need help. If we want this to be successful, we need help. Everyone, everyone has either a day job or other things going on in their daily life, so no one's being paid. This isn't a full-time thing for anybody. So we need people to kind of, whatever extra time you have, whatever extra skills you have, bring those to us. Talk with us. Let us know that you want to be more involved. And we'll get into the different subcategories of departments, or what I'm calling them right now. But we'll get into that. So, but the 4 big ones. So I'll tell you the 4 that we do need, and we'll get into task organization later. But Intel, IT security. We need people. You don't have to have a huge background intelligence if you're just good at scanning the internet, finding good resources, good valuable information. If you're the person who walks down the street and you're just very good at picking up, you have great situational awareness, and you see things going on that you feel like other people miss, or maybe it's just obvious. But we need that feedback in order to identify, potential threats in our area, and hopefully there are none, but if should they arise, we need sensors, we need feelers out there. All right, the second one, comms. We need people who are smart with ham radios, or just interested in ham radios. So as one of our 3 core skill sets that we want everyone to have. Number 1, medical. Be trained at a minimum level of medical. Number 2 is communications. Obviously, we need you to know how to use your cell phone. We need you to know who to call if you see an emergency, the appropriate time. But if everything goes down, we also need everyone to have a minimum capability with a ham radio. So if you don't know what that is, just ask. Get involved with us. We'll explain it. If you do know what it is, you know that there's various levels of it. If you've ever been part of a larger network, you know about communication plans. We need someone who can work those bugs out for us. All right, next, training. Right now, training kind of falls under 2 things. One, we need just people who are organized, good at scheduling things, reaching out, making contact with the instructors, and then making sure that information is being relayed to all the potential students, all of us. The other part is we need instructors to train on certain topics. We don't have a budget, at least not yet. That's a point of discussion that's kind of sidebarred right now, but we don't have any money, so everyone does this volunteer. If you're, for example, if you're EMT, if you've got a medical background, then we need some training in medical. There's a few of us who have a background in like TCCC, but I'm not a certified instructor yet. So we're doing this on a shoestring budget, so everything will help. All right, next last department, as I mentioned, medical. We need some medical people. I know I talked to a few people in Heber last weekend, and I know a few of you had EMTs. 1 or 2 of you is up in Logan. So that could be a struggle, but if you're willing to do the drive, or we can come up to you or whatever, but we need instructors doing for medical department. All right, trying to get through this. Okay. Progress. Where are we at? So, as I mentioned, about a month and a half ago, two of us got together on locals that Mike started, and we saw this traffic going on, and Mike was doing his YouTube videos and podcasts and stuff, but it was like, all right, so what's next? I want to get off the bench, so to speak, as Mike says, but I don't know. I'm up off the bench. I don't know where to go. Where put me in, coach? What position am I in? So anyway, we got together, and that dinner at a public restaurant turned into somebody invited us over to their house. We had a great barbecue. We had some more great discussion, and that involved, then finally we took another step forward and said, hey, let's do some training. I was like, hey, I could do some TCCC, and we had a former Marine with us. He and I put together a TCCC class, and came out pretty good, I think. I would say everyone walked away from there knowing more than they did when they showed up, and that's a good thing. That's what we're trying to do. So since then, we have done some basic comms training. We've done some intermediate comms training. A group of us went to Mike's place in Heber. Fieldcraft Survival has a new building there. They're expanding. And Mike welcomed everybody to his facility, gave some stop the bleed training, and then kind of had an open discussion with us. It was great. We had a good time, had a good showing. It was a positive event, and we got our name there. So just for SA, we just found out today, Tina and Mike and Kurt invited us to come down to Heber tomorrow, and we're going to do a podcast with him, kind of talking about all of this, what I'm talking to you about now. They're interested in how we got the organization going. So watch for that podcast on Mike's channel. So let's see, what else have we done? This weekend, I'm putting on a handgun fundamentals course for 10 students. I have to limit it there for safety. And I'm just kind of getting going with my, business. As an instructor, I just recently got certified on the civilian side, trying to take my military skills and cross them over. That's a headache, but it's a process, and we're getting it done. Going to get some training then, and it won't be the last class. We'll do more in the future. But if you're a shooting instructor, let us know. Let's make use of your skills. I know ammo's tight right now and it's expensive, so maybe bring me some ideas. Let's talk about it and see how we can still convey this training. Maybe reduce the amount of ammo people shoot. So anyway, that's where we're at right now. Super optimistic. The task organization with the leadership. So as I mentioned right now, Tina and I are the leaders. This is a democracy. There's not a military organization. There's no one person making all the decisions, creating the direction. We all will vote for the direction of the organization. If we see something we don't like it, then we just discuss it and we vote to change it as we see fit. So, but there's two of us. At some point, you have to have leaders to at least guide the direction of the boat. Below that, we've broken it up into departments. We have the leadership / administration department. We have an Intel IT department. Our 3 shop is our operations department. Our 4 shop is going to be or is the supply department. They're building up and they're doing some research right now. Our 5 shop is going to be mobility, whether it's vehicular, dismounted, meaning on foot with backpacks, rucksacks, go bags, that kind of area. Our 6 shop is communications. Our 7 shop is for training. Our 8 shop is recruiting. It's currently a department of 1 as well. My girlfriend Alyssa, she's crushing it. Most of you, if you came through Instagram or Facebook, she got that rolling. So and since she has, we're really seeing some numbers increase. So go Alyssa. And our 9 shop is medical. Like I said, we have literally 0 bodies in there right now. And so again, please, if you are in the medical field, please contact myself or Tina, and let's talk. So that's basically the structure. And then below that is all going to be the operational teams. You guys will be operational teams, possibly. So fundamentally speaking, we would like everyone who's part of the organization to give back in some way. However, we'll never say no to anybody. If there's, someone who's not mobile and not very agile, can't get around very well, but they're fearful for what's coming up, you are welcome. You will be welcomed into our organization. If you have a need, like I like to make the analogy. If someone calls 911, we all have expectations. Who and what will show up, right? Well, when 911 doesn't work, 912, will be AMCON Northern Utah, and so whoever you may be super active, and you may not be active at all. But if you're part of the organization, you support what we're about, then we welcome you in. So that kind of gives you an idea of the structure and who we're at. We've also talked about geographical boundaries. What if I live, across the line? There's no line, okay? I don't care where you live. If you live up in Idaho, you live in St. George, it doesn't matter. You just have to understand that we, may not have people close to you. So, it's a risk. It becomes a risk mitigation. What we can do is you're still welcome to come to trainings. You want to organize something in your area, maybe we can work something to come to you. But just understand that, right now we're looking at basically this Salt Lake area. Most of our people right now are in the Salt Lake area, up north, upwards to Logan, I would say. We've got a handful of people out of Logan now. So, and then the east and west boundaries are kind of, the lake. And of course, we have a few people actually from Wyoming participate in our last training event. So just understand, the further you are from the core, though, this northern Salt Lake City area, we may not have as many people that can respond as quickly to you. So we may be able to help you recruit more people in your area. I like to use the analogy, if my dad called me, he lives up in Montana, or my mom in North Dakota, if they were to call me and they had an emergency, you can bet I'm going to be in my truck in about 10 minutes or less, and I'm going to be on my way. But they understand that they're 8-10 hours away. So but I'm going to come. All right, and that's what we want you to know too. We want you to know, if you need us, we're going to come. Okay, so what are we all doing? We're trying to organize something for the bad day scenario, the things that we don't want, the things that we fear about, the things that we see in the news. The elections are coming up. You have all these rioting in the streets. Whatever it is, the best thing you can do, you're doing part of it right now, is you're becoming part of a network. But the one step above that you should be doing, and I'm assuming most of you have, if you're here already, you probably already have done this step, which is prepare yourself. Make your own preparations. And if you're here and you're just looking for training as a process to prepare yourself, then you're on the right track. And we're going to help you with that. So your own personal preparations. We can get into that more maybe in another training. But that's number one. Get yourself ready. Don't put yourself in a bad situation. Okay, the direction ANU, I'm just going to say for AMCON Northern Utah, I'm just going to abbreviate it ANU a lot. So the direction ANU is going, so to explain the process, how do we work? What are we doing, right? Why do I have all these departments, or why do we have all these departments laid out? So let me explain it like this. It kind of starts you can pick a multitude of places where it would start. It's kind of a loop, but I'm going to start with Intel because it's kind of a natural start for the process. So Intel is out there looking and identifying what those threats are. What are the potential threats? And it could be anything. It could be rioters in downtown Salt Lake. It could be, the potential threat of Yellowstone erupting. It could, whatever. What is Intel telling us? And so I like to think of things. What is the worst case scenario and most dangerous courses of action, in other words, or what are the most likely courses of action that are going to occur, the threats, the most likely threats. So most dangerous and most likely. So, and then we start to develop, the operations department will take that intelligence and they're going to start to prepare, they have started to prepare what capabilities do we need to address those types of threats. So, and as those develop, as those threats are identified and capabilities required to address those, we're going to transfer that information to training. We put the onus now becomes on to training to how do we train to those capabilities. And then operations and training will work hand in hand as they look at the threats and training and identify them. Training looks at how can we meet the capabilities to address all of those. And then as well as operations will be looking at who do we have in what locations for certain threats. The threats, for example, the threats in downtown Salt Lake are going to be different than the threats out in the valley. So we need to manage that appropriately and then provide training to those people who live in those areas. We're also talking about expanding in more than just 1 and 2 man teams. We'll also have a larger capability that we want to place certain loadouts in certain geographical locations so that we can respond to areas with a specific loadout that's already in place, such as, let's just say there's a massive windstorm in the valley and everyone's power went out for an extended period of time. Well, we may have a loadout of generators with pre-staged gas and fuel, some water, some things like that. And then we would start down the phone tree to create a meal plan that maybe people could, ferry meals into the hot meal, at least a hot meal a day or something to that effect. And that's just a general scenario example. We're still waiting on the whole process to evolve and create those loadouts and create those capabilities internal to our organization. Okay, let's see. Like I said, I think we're over 60 bodies right now. So if you know people, if you think someone might be interested, put them onto this video, put them on our Facebook, put them on our Instagram. If you want me to talk to them, if you think it would be beneficial to an individual, to a group, or Tina and I, or maybe Tina alone, however you think you can sell it best, let us know. We're willing to do it. This is important to us. We want this to grow. And this isn't just from here to November 3rd stretch. Our intent is to make sure this has longevity, that we don't want to just sprint to the first hurdle and get over that hurdle and think, oh, well, we're good, and then quit the race. There's going to be hurdles, further down the road. So, we talked about priority and training. So medical, comms, and self-defense. You're going to see those repetitively. We're trying to work in other topics as well, but those 3 topics are going to be repeatedly trained, whether it's to get everybody up to speed or at some point it just becomes a currency. So those are the 3 priority training subjects. If you have started joining and you haven't completed, you should have several emails from us as well as a form, an online Google form to fill out. Please do that. That helps us. The more information we have, the more the resources that you're willing to donate to the cause, whether it's time, instructor you're for a specific topic, maybe you have land that we can train on, whatever it is, let us know, and so that we can plug that in Again, operate in the light. The more that we all do that, the better principle-centered decisions we can make in the end state. All right, if you like what you see, come visit us. We've got the Facebook page. I'm new to this YouTube thing, but I'm gonna try to put these links down below. We've got Facebook, we've got an Instagram. There's an email address that ultimately you need to send an email to request being added to our distro, and then that's when you'll start getting the request to fill out certain information. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I can think of right now. So, like I said, watch for that podcast that Mike's going to be doing with us. Come join, get with us. If you have ideas, we need them. If you have time, we need that. If you have a subject matter expert skill, we need it. And you'd be surprised to maybe think, I can't tell you how many people I've spoke with already who are concerned, like, I don't really feel like I have anything to offer. 5 to 10 minutes into talking to them and finding out what they do and where they're from and their background, I haven't met anyone yet who doesn't have something to offer. So please, just come on out, communicate, hang out with us for a little bit, see what we're all about. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised and happy to be part of our organization. All right, stay in the fight. I'm happy to have you. Thanks for watching.